The next step is to open the rice crop mapper. So please go to the INAHOR menu. If somehow you lost this, maybe close this, you can always go here and open up again. The pre-processing outputs, all those things are still where they were saved last time. So please click on rice crop mapper. This is going to open up a map, which depending on the size of your screen and how much sort of real estate you have to use here, it might be difficult to see. I'm going to pull this down here and reveal the control dialog. On my system, this kind of pops in right around here, so I can't actually see the dialog. So I'm going to move it to the side a little bit. Okay, and then let me click on the dialog, and I'll move this a little bit. So this happens quite a bit with INAHOR. Sometimes a dialog will be behind this map window, and you'll think nothing's happening, but actually it is. So always be careful of that. So the control dialog, very nice. There are 5 steps. We can just jump in here. Step 1, area selection. So let's go to open images. The sensor is Pulsar 2. This AD question is the satellite was in the ascending mode or the descending mode when the data was collected. This was descending. That information comes with the images. In this case, just trust me. Mode is WBD. Another just trust me on this one. The metadata files that come with the satellite images have this information. But for now, we'll be using descending and WBD. The directory, if you click on ref, that will take you to Pulsar 2 by default, and then just touch sigma naught. So that means you've selected this directory to be opened. And when you click on this, you'll see the sigma naught here, so it knows that's the right place. And then the target period. For our case, we know that the harvest period is going to be between September 1st and October 31st, in this case for this year. When you're doing this with other images for different areas, these times will be different. This requires you to just know when that was happening during that time. So for this case, please use September 1st and October 31st. And then say OK. It goes to step 2, confirm the target images. Click on View Images, and you get a dialog that comes up with the 4 different images. The dates up at the top. You'll recall I had a slide that had these images on it. So these are the 4 images. And the green ones will be for the planting season. The orange ones will be for the harvesting season. Sometimes you'll have a blue color, which is for both planting and harvesting, but we don't have that. Say OK. And when you hit OK, the processing is going on in the background, and within a few seconds, right here in the target area, you'll see a change. Okay, so I took a little break there. That took about a minute on my computer. What happens is you'll have, and let me move this a little bit so you can see it better, and I'll move this layer select also. This is a really nice window. What happens here, you get the planting time image, the difference image, and the latest image are brought in automatically. So INAHOR has been doing all these calculations in that minute or so that was going on in the background. If you zoom in here, and I'm using my wheel on my mouse to zoom so you're not hearing it. If you want, you can also use the plus up here or the minus here to zoom in and out. So I'll zoom in, bring this in the middle. And this is our target area. Now, what do we have here? There are 3 images. So I can turn off this top one, the planting time image, the difference image, and the latest image. Let's put those back on and zoom in a little bit more. So what are we looking at? So the planting time image is, well, that was the time during planting. Turn off difference. So these 2, planting time and latest image. So this is the difference between planting and harvesting. And with your eye, the way this is being displayed here, it might be visible, it might not be visible. It depends on your display and how good your eyes are, I suppose. But there is a difference in the image. The program itself calculates that difference, and it shows it much clearer here. So if we look at just the difference image, these very bright areas are areas that are likely to be classified as rice. Okay. So now that we've got that, let's go to step 3. This is probably the most important step, and we're going to be doing a lot of this in Module 5, tweaking these threshold 1 and 2 values to get better results. So for right now, the simple mode, we've got threshold 1. You can use the defaults, which are -15 and 3 respectively. These can be changed to whatever you like. But for right now, let's go to the advanced mode. Click on threshold setting. You'll notice that the first threshold I put in here, -15 and 3, come up here for this mixel, for the case of flooded area to rice area. If we click auto, these other values for the mixed pixels, the mixels, will automatically change to settings that the program decides are appropriate. Now, something we haven't discussed too much yet, but this idea of a mixed pixel. The idea that within one of these pixels there are more than one type of land use. There is more than one type of land use. So for example, a pixel might contain part of a field, it might contain part of a flooded area, it might contain part of an urban area, it might have some water in it. All these different options are, well, most of these options, a wide range of options, are taken account for here. And this allows us to have a better classification. So let's say OK, and then detection run. This means we are going to try to run the detection. This takes a while, so I'll be back. OK, well, not too long, maybe 30 or 40 seconds. And you'll notice that the layers menu has been updated, so detected area is now active. And we have these different legend items for the growth stage. Harvested 100%, growing 100%, harvested 25%, growing 25%, planting, all these different stages. And if I zoom in a little bit more here, let's see, you can get an idea of the output. And if I toggle this on and off, let me zoom in a little bit more, right here. So this is saying these areas are either harvested or they're currently growing. So it's going to be rice of some sort. So we toggle that on and off, and that's consistent with what we're seeing in the backscatter image, or the difference image of planting and harvest. Okay. So let's go here. That's been completed. Step 4, the output file name. I'll call this one trial 1. This will be our first attempt. I'll say save. And that automatically goes. Okay, let's close this. We'll check where that goes in a second. But step 5, if you want to look at this result in Google Earth, you can convert to KMZ. You can click save. Aspect ratio 100 is fine. Okay. And then let me click here. Let me call this trial 1 also. Actually, maybe trial 1 detected. Hey, this is interesting, isn't it? Finally, this came up to explain. I just pushed the underscore on my computer, but it came up as an equal sign. And that's because I believe on everyone's system, the Linux installation will have Japanese keyboard as a default keyboard. So unless you've got a Japanese keyboard, please select US right here. Most characters are the same, but sometimes the special characters are different. So once I do that, if I hit the underscore, then I do get an underscore. So detected area. And then I will save that. I'll just save that on the desktop and say save. And then you'll notice that right here on the desktop, after it's written that, you will get a KML or a KMZ file that can be opened in Google Earth. So that is the rice crop mapper. Now, we haven't looked at the results yet. You should be able to see the results if you go to the home folder, to INAHOR, data, area, output. So one more time if you didn't get that. Inside INAHOR data area, we had been using Pulsar 2 before. Remember, we had the images, then the Sigma 0. We had these things, but if we click on area, then inside there's the output, the default output folder for INAHOR. And we've got the trial 1 TIFF file, we've got a thumbnail, and that's basically the image that we had when we were making it. Now, the thumbnail's lower quality, so you can't see all the details that you had. But the TIFF has all that information that you can open in the GIS, and we're going to do that later.